The Way of the Warrior is a tradition stressing the values of sincerity, martial arts mastery, bravery, and loyalty. Codified as Bushido in the Edo period, it has existed in Japanese culture for over a millennium and is a core aspect to even modern social conduct. From this ethical code arises a strong sense of honor and duty to protect that honor. However, I don't see a 4'9", 88-pound girl who doesn't eat her vegetables dominate Yabusame and katana duels. But Peaky P-Key's DJ, Inuyose Shinobu, is never one to back down in a battle of pride and takes it to the turntables. Hello and welcome to another Streaming Parson Dig Delight Direct Drive DJ video essay. Shinobu is unique even among the other DJs in the franchise. While every character loves what they do, for Shinobu, being a DJ is closely tied to her identity. That is because, unlike them, she was born into this world, which gives her a much more serious outlook to this genre of music. While everyone else entered the DJ scene because of a sense of wonder, for Shinobu, being a DJ is her duty. Shinobu is introduced in first mix alongside Peaky P-Key, listening to the results of a DJ remix contest held at their school. The audience is immediately shown that Shinobu is a prodigy, crediting her 5 consecutive contest wins simply to the rest of the school's lack of skill. First mix will have snippet scenes of Peaky P-Key evaluating the growth of the up-and-coming Happy Around, and while teammates Kyoko, Yuka, and Esura think the newbies show promise, Shinobu is disinterested. Episodes 7 and 8 reveal that Shinobu's overconfidence comes from the fact that she has been mixing tracks and DJing since early childhood and possesses experience that dwarfs everyone around her. This makes for an interesting contrast throughout first mix between the experienced Shinobu and the up-and-coming Akashi Maho. They first officially meet in episode 8, where Maho is going through some separation anxiety, thinking that her vocalist Rinku may leave Happy Around to join Peaky P-Key. Shinobu's first appearance in the episode has her sound asleep on her couch, showing just how relaxed she can be compared to the stressed out Maho. She awakes and, hoping some cold air to the face can wake her up, drops her handkerchief out the window, falling on Maho's face. Shinobu invites her in for a drink as thanks for retrieving her handkerchief. Maho feels the drink is unnecessary, but unlike the cocky attitude Shinobu has been displaying in her introduction scenes, she is sincere and polite about how returning a possession should be rewarded. They talk, and Maho asks whether it is true that Rinku is going to join Peaky P-Key. Shinobu sees that Maho doesn't want that to be the case and gives advice on what she must do for Happy Around. Shinobu's maturity and sincerity is on display as she goads Maho to make herself better instead of giving up on DJing. This is because Shinobu is serious about DJing and doesn't want to see others give up on the craft. Shinobu is passionate about DJing because from a young age she learned the craft from her grandfather, whom is a famous DJ named Inuyose Donojo. Groovy Mix reveals that Donojo, with some friends, made a DJ unit, LMO, and skyrocketed the popularity of DJ music in Japan with the very first aptly named D4 Fest. Having this direct connection to D4 Fest gives Shinobu an interesting contrast to Maho and her inspiration to becoming a DJ. In the first episode of First Mix, the audience is shown Maho's flashback to a D4 Fest she watched as a child. Maho looks from the outside in, while Shinobu looks at the world of DJing from the inside out. This insider perspective is mostly unique to Shinobu. despite that the other DJs in this franchise all start relatively young. None of them have the same connection to the DJ phenomenon as Shinobu. However, being born into it does beg the question: was the life of a DJ truly her own choosing? This question is directly brought up in the Shinobu story, It's My Choice, where Denojo and Shinobu's brother talk about her. The audience learns that despite having the same connection to Denojo, neither Shinobu's father, her brother, or her sister pursued music. This is because none of them understood DJ music like Shinobu did, implying she also possessed inherent talent that the rest of the family didn't have. However, they question whether that talent forced her into this life. Denojo makes an interesting statement about how Shinobu follows in his footsteps out of a sense of duty. Shinobu interrupts them, affirming that she chose the DJ life and that this life makes her happy. Her character progression in Groovy Mix is how she comes to terms with the weight and responsibility of this choice.
時々ふと思うんだよ。忍は本当に自分の進みたい道を選んだのかとな。あいつは俺の音楽を理解できたことで、それ以外の道を選べなくなったのかもしれん。音楽を続けることが自分に課せられた義務だと忍が思い込んでしまったとしたら。だがもしそうなら俺はあいつに。
そんなわけないだろ。
いつからそこに？
そんなのどうだっていいだろ。今は私の話だ。音楽を始めたのは確かにじいちゃんのおかげだよ。じいちゃんがいたから音楽が楽しいって思えたんだ。でもこの道を進むって決めたのは私だよ。私自身が音楽をやりたくてここにいるんだ。誰のためでもない。私は私のために音楽をやってるんだよ。
そうか。お前自身のための音楽か。
One of the biggest differences between the anime and Groovy Mix's continuities is Shinobu's status as the best in her field. Groovy Mix's first major story event is the revival of D4 Fest after many years of hiatus. The 6 main D4DJ units compete on different levels, and as one would expect, Peaky P-Key wins the main stage competition. However, Shinobu feels their victory is undermined when DJs Kase Mana and Takao Toka make a surprise performance for the close of D4 Fest. Groovy Mix used this moment to remind Shinobu that she lives in a big world, and there will always be others who encroach on her road to DJ success. The sequel anime, All Mix, does not have Mana or Toka appear, and while it does reference D4 Fest, it is never mentioned. This is because All Mix's plot is about how the 6 DJ units work together to restore a particular community in their part of Tokyo. This means that the competitive nature of the units is a non sequitur, and thus Shinobu's primary character arc is absent in All Mix. To be fair, what importance does defending honor have when there is no one aggressing against it? Not only do Mana and Toka not appear in All Mix, solo DJ Kaibara Michiru is relegated to a small side character who in her own way is also helping with Manaki Neko. This is drastically different from how Michiru behaves in Groovy Mix. Road to D-Fest 2, Peaky, has Michiru, who self-proclaims herself as Shinobu's rival, frequently challenges Shinobu to prove who is the better DJ. Road to D-Fest 2 has Michiru do it 3 separate times, which seems excessive, But for them, their rivalry has an additional dimension that makes it unique to D4DJ's narrative. Like Shinobu, Michiru also has a legacy connection to DJ culture and D4 Fest and her uncle, LMO's other DJ Kaibara Haruki. Their rivalry is more than a contest of skill. It is a battle of inheritance and honor for who has the right to carry the legacy of D4 Fest. Shinobu shows her greatest strength in her tenacity and her never-give-up attitude when facing Michiru's challenges. Michiru attempts to get the better of Shinobu through underhanded tactics like challenging Shinobu when she is noticeably off her game, choosing a battleground where she would have the clear advantage, and conscripting LMO to give her a sharp edge in the following rematch. Shinobu stands her ground and faces Michiru's challenges with poise and dignity and comes out victorious. Overcoming her fellow legacy DJ, Shinobu regains her confidence and moves to prove herself and Peaky as being the best DJ unit in Japan. This confidence is short-lived as Toka and Mana return along with Airi and Shano as the reformed Call of Artemis, who squash all the competition, Peaky P-Key included. The L's don't stop there, as after D4 Fest 2, an American DJ unit called Abyssmare show up on the scene and challenge the Japanese units. It is interesting to observe that Peaky P-Key does not immediately accept the challenge, which is unusual considering their never-give-up attitude. But I propose that Peaky, especially Shinobu, began to lose confidence after their first real defeat at the hands of Call of Artemis. Shinobu's cowardice is embarrassed when Michiru of all people, alongside the virtual idol Lumina and small-time performers Hayate and Kokowa, accept to be the opening act for Abyssmare's Tokyo show. Shinobu already proved that she is still the better DJ than Michiru, and should have more confidence in Peaky than Michiru should have with her ragtag no-named unit. However, Michiru is the one who is brave enough to face Abyssmare here, whereas, despite it being Shinobu's responsibility to protect the honor of Japanese DJ units, she is nowhere to be seen. Salt is only added to the wound as Peaky P-Key's power over the other DJ units begins to wane. Early D4DJ wrote Peaky P-Key to be superior compared to the other DJ units, primarily because of their higher amount of experience. However, as time passed, the other units grew and combined with the latent talents of other DJs like Lyrical Lily's Haruna or Photon Maiden's Saki, that skill level gap began to close. Speaking of Photon Maiden, inside Origin Photon Maiden, Peaky is challenged in their high school popularity by Photon Maiden running for the student council. Since this is D4DJ, a live show was going to be involved in the student council election. And, to everyone's surprise, Photon Maiden wins their head-to-head along with the election. The Queen of the Castle image shattered as Shinobu realized that between Michiru constantly nipping at her heels and Saki actually getting a win over her, she had to change if she was to reclaim her place as top DJ. Side origin Peaky begins with Peaky P-Key visiting Shinobu, who apparently was so dejected from her recent loss that she skipped a few days of school. While they are checking up on her, they are met by Shinobu's grandfather, who regales them with stories of his glory days founding D4 Fest and his hopes of expanding DJ music in Japan. Shinobu cuts him off as she's heard the story so many times, but Denojo adds a new element to the story: his rival, Mitsuhashi Sho, and his return to the music scene through the unit Abyssmare. It dawns on Shinobu that the stakes have been raised, as the challenge from Abyssmare is more than American music versus Japanese music, but it is the continuation of her grandfather's battle against his greatest rival. While Kyoko tries to get advice from Denojo, Shinobu meets up with the other members of LMO to learn more about Sho. She first approaches Haruki, and while he doesn't have much to add to the story, what is interesting about this dynamic is that Shinobu is essentially talking to her rival's uncle about her grandfather's rival. Despite this, Haruki gives Shinobu the most useful piece of advice: that she should accept the challenges of rivals, because that will not only make her more skilled as a DJ, but will motivate her to make Denojo's dream a reality. Shinobu has always cared about her grandfather's legacy and believes him to be her highest standard. However, Shinobu's problem is that she was preoccupied with protecting his reputation that she lost any sort of ambition to go anywhere with it. This is the reason why the other units began closing the skill gap between them, as shown in Photon Maiden's win over them. Shinobu acknowledges this in her refusal to Mitsuhashi Ku's proposition to work for him in his revenge fantasy against his father. Shinobu's refusal of Ku also shows her Bushido, as she affirms that she performs to honor DJ culture. Her conviction is that she fights for a cause larger than hers and her grandfather's reputation. Shinobu displays her resolve in challenging her grandfather to a DJ match. This challenge is important because it answers for her if she really is ready to take her grandfather's legacy and bring it to a new world and continue the work he started. Even though Denojo didn't have the full power of LMO at his back, he accepts Peaky P-Key's victory over him, affirming for Shinobu that she is ready to carry his dreams into the future as his successor. This reaffirmation of Shinobu's sense of duty gives her a perspective that allows her to empathize with others. Shinobu understands the weight of duty better than most, and thus when Yuka struggles with her sense of duty in One of the Most, Shinobu is the one who is able to relate to her dilemma. One of the Most begins with Peaky preparing a new song and dance routine for an upcoming live. One rehearsal has them practice at Yuka's family gym. Yuka's parents enter the scene excited about a new workout machine, which Yuka can't wait to try out. Peaky is amazed at Yuka's enthusiasm, and Shinobu jokes that Yuka must have been working out since birth. Yuka's father explains that is the case, as Yuka was born the same time the gym was built. Yuka spent her earliest days there mimicking her parents' movements, making her a gym girl for as long as she remembers. While reminiscing, Yuka slips out that she plans to succeed her parents in running the gym. Throughout the story, Yuka questions herself on if she really is committed to Peaky P-Key, because she notices she has time for other things, like photography and training. She believes that her heart lies elsewhere and thus feels she is being unfair to the rest of Peaky who are serious about their DJ music. The more Yuka thinks about it, the more she feels torn between her different interests. Her struggle is ultimately her questioning if she is allowed to have other passions or if they will get in the way of her sense of duty. Fortunately for Yuka, Shinobu has an answer for her question. Shinobu questions Yuka if Peaky P-Key is her top priority, and when Yuka hesitates, Shinobu comforts her by saying that it's okay if it isn't. She states that all of Yuka's interests, such as muscle training, photography, and music, make her who she is. Shinobu is effectively saying that even if your heart is in one place, you can spend your time in other things as they cultivate your personality. Even if Yuka's duty is to her family and the gym she grew up in, she can still have passion for Peaky P-Key, which is good enough. This sentiment is understood well by Shinobu because she has a priority above Peaky P-Key: her duty to carry her grandfather's dream. Shinobu knows that she can be loyal to her duty while spending time with her friends and playing video games day in and day out.
この前は最高のパフォーマンスができたかって悩んでたけど、別にこれまでもピキピキで手を抜いたことなんてないだろ。もちろんだよ。じゃあいいんだよ。写真も筋トレもピキピキも全部が一番で。いいのかな、そんなの。全部が一番でなんて、そんな欲張りなことを考えてて、そんなんじゃみんなと一緒にいられないよ。ああ、もうグダグダうるさい。あたしらにとってユカのパフォーマンスも VJ も必要なんだ。ユカにとってピキピキが一番じゃなくても、ピキピキにとってはユカが一番なんだよ。だからいていいに決まってるだろ。忍、ユカは焦りすぎなんだよ。もちろんもっと成長したいって気持ちは大事だけど、お前はもう頑張ってるよ。だからちょっとは肩の力を抜いてもいいんじゃねえの。そっか、私もう頑張れてたんだ。捨てなくていいんだ。ああ、私が保証する。ユカは人より体力が有り余ってるんだから、ちょっとくらい欲張りしてもいいんだよ。あたしからしたら羨ましいくらいだ。忍はもっと鍛えようね。うるさいよ。私これからも頑張るから。当たり前だろ。これからもよろしく。ありがとう、忍。そんなのこっちだって。いつも私を連れ出してくれて助かってるよ。ありがとうな。
Shinobu's loyalty to her grandfather and his dream is something that she has great pride in, even when she acts fussy around him. This is sharply shown in Crosby episode 5 when Lumina explains the D4 project. Shinobu asks how they're all involved in this D4 project. Lumina states that it wouldn't exist if D4 Fest didn't exist. Shinobu then asks about what the mad scientists wanted from D4 Fest. Lumina answers that they were going to use their music and its increasing popularity to dictate human evolution through controlling people's minds. Shinobu is pretty angry at this whole thing because she takes her music seriously. At this point of the narrative, the weight of her sense of duty makes her even more passionate about her grandfather's legacy, and thus, the idea of some scientists treating it like a disposable resource offends her deeply. She is so upset that when the other characters decide to parse their situation over tea, Shinobu heads home. She did this because she wanted to talk to her grandfather about what she learned about the D4 project.
ただいま。あれ、じいちゃんがいない。外で打ち合わせかな。まあいいか。土蔵で作業の続きしよう。はあ、DJ か。
忍、
何？
じいちゃんはな、一人の DJ としてこの世界に種をまいてきたつもりだ。
種？
そう、D4 フェスって名のでかい畑を耕して DJ 文化という種をまいてきたんだ。だがな、どんな種も育てる人間がいなくなればいつかは枯れてしまう。この国に本当の DJ 文化が根付くかどうかはお前たちにかかってるんだ。わかるか？
わからん。
そうか。まあ、お前はそれでいい。
DJ 文化の種か。たく、とんでもない種まきやがって。
Unfortunately for Shinobu, the old man isn't home, so she is left to think about his legacy in a new light. She recalls a conversation with him where he states that his time as a DJ was only meant to begin something larger. The real responsibility of D4 Fest's fate fell upon Shinobu and her generation. This reaffirms that Denojo had always entrusted Shinobu with his dream and legacy, to which Shinobu acts a little miffed that this legacy is now involved with the potential end of the world. When the main cast have to follow Lumina into the Sea of Electrons toward the end of Crossbeat, Shinobu tells her grandfather that the DJ culture he cultivated is going to be safe in her hands. Shinobu's tsundere side comes out a bit toward her grandfather, that even if she acts peeved about taking such heavy responsibility, she takes great care to honor his DJ legacy and is willing to face annihilation to defend it, to which Denojo cannot help but feel proud. Everything naturally works out in the end and DJ culture is preserved. Shinobu has done well in defending her family's honor. While she may have only played a small part in Crossbeat, she did assist in saving the world. So where does a petite samurai who just helped save the world go from here? Shinobu's sense of honoring legacy goes beyond DJ music. Dazzling Peaky, Festival Flowers, tells a story of how Peaky revives a cultural tradition in their neighborhood. Over a decade ago, their neighborhood used to have a festival aptly named the Fighting Portable Shrine Festival. But due to the older generation not finding successors to carry on the tradition, it was abandoned. Shinobu takes it upon herself to revive the festival and drags the rest of Peaky along for the ride. At first, she faces some resistance as the old festival committee is reluctant to pass the torch onto a young girl they barely know. But Shinobu shows that despite her age, she is not one to back down from a challenge. She convinces the town committee to allow her the chance to revive the drum festival. But of course, there is more resistance to face. While practicing some dance routines, they are met with the drumming team from another district and are told that they would just embarrass themselves with their lack of experience. Between the anxious elderly and the arrogant young adult competitors, Peaky is told to give up on this endeavor. But Shinobu is not one to give up, because reviving this festival is important to her.
その課題を全部クリアできたら復活させられるってことだよな。ああ、もううるせえな。いいから、私たちにやらせろよ、じいさん。ふぬけたあんたらにもう一度本当の祭りってやつを見せてやる。わあ、忍かっこいい。
Shinobu understands better than most the pain of giving up legacy. When she saw that the old festival committee conceded to letting their traditions die, she became passionate in facing the challenges ahead, because the significance of the old drumming festival was important to the people, and that was something worth protecting. Her non-give-up attitude draws out Peaky's peakiness, impressing the elders that their tradition is not going down without a fight. Naturally, Peaky P-Key participates in the Shrine Festival and wins the competition. As things wind down, Shinobu is told that she did her grandfather proud. Apparently, when the old festival committee struggled to find successors, Denojo attempted to carry on the town's legacy on his own, but was unsuccessful. This frustrated him because he deeply loved the tradition and how it brought people together as a community. With that said, he felt that his failure led to the dwindling of his community. Kyoko points out that Shinobu achieved what her grandfather could not, bringing great honor upon her family and community in the revival of a near-terminal, treasured tradition.
みんな、お疲れ様。あれ、あそこにいるの天之丞さんじゃない？
ほんとだ。昨日話した時は来るなんて一言も言ってなかったのに。疾風陣雷の天之丞？
天之丞さんにそんな過去が。でもそれなら今日のことは余計に嬉しいんじゃない？自分ができなかったことを、伝説の祭り組の復活を孫の忍がやり遂げちゃったんだもんね。
私ちょっと行ってくる。おーいじいちゃん
This victory for Shinobu displays that she is more than capable than just carrying the legacy of her grandfather. With her Peaky passion, she will go beyond what he was able to do. Shinobu's bravery gives her conviction to face every obstacle placed in front of her, making her the right person to bear the responsibility of cultivating the DJ culture that the original D4 Fest started. The way of the warrior is an arduous one, but Shinobu has proven time and time again that she is a worthy successor to the legacies entrusted to the next generation. Rest assured that the turntables will always keep turning in Shinobu's capable hands.
Michael, don't leave me here. Michael, Michael, help me.